Kingdom Shell is a Metroidvania with Souls-like elements set in a stunning dark fantasy world full of hidden lore and memorable boss fights. You play as Elias, a half-blood who has demon blood running through his veins, and he is summoned to save this kingdom from a horrible fate. I must say, I did enjoy the story, but it didn't manage to captivate me the whole way through. I was more impressed by the gameplay and the inventive level design in some areas, to be honest. For a game made by only one person, this game does a great job at keeping the gameplay fresh and exciting, because there is some variety here and there. At one point it even changes into a shoot 'em up or into a pretty challenging auto-scroller while sailing a boat. I thought playing with multiple genres was a fun idea, so I really appreciated this design choice. The core gameplay is fine. Your character has close range attacks, so the combat is pretty intense, but a bit basic, to be honest. Thankfully, you have some ranged spells that change up the combat a bit, but you mostly will just spam your basic attacks and dodge roll whenever it's necessary, because you will run out of mana really quickly if you overuse it. The platforming and the exploration is a lot better in my opinion. There are some really creative and challenging platform sections here and there, especially in later areas in the game. I must admit that some sections feel like giant difficulty spikes because of the lack of save points. There are at least 3 areas in this game that feel a bit unfair compared to the rest of this game. These areas feel more like gauntlets, because overcoming them requires a lot of focus and the mastery of your skills from you. I have lost so much money and also so much time during these sections, because reaching the next save point is really difficult without dying. I feel like adding at least one more save point in these areas would balance out the difficulty a lot better. The exploration can also be pretty challenging, because you won't unlock fast travel until you reach a specific area, which is like halfway into the game. I personally prefer having this ability right at the beginning, because it would make exploring a lot more enjoyable and less time consuming. When I'm not able to fast travel, I'm going to forget certain things I have discovered earlier in the game, like important locations that require a new ability to reach, or the locations of certain collectibles I couldn't reach before. You can mark spots on your map, but you can only place a limited amount, so you can imagine keeping track of everything was pretty difficult. But after unlocking fast travel, it became a lot easier and for sure a lot more enjoyable. I also would like to say that every area added something to the overall experience. And even though some areas really tested my patience because of instant death traps or just annoying enemies that can deal a lot of damage from long range, none of them overstayed their welcome and became too frustrating or tedious. Well, except for these few gauntlet sections, of course. The boss fights were quite challenging and pretty memorable, even though they didn't have that many attacks. I really liked their design and their overall presentation. But there is this one boss called Timid Guest, and I honestly hated this fight. I have nothing bad to say about the look of the boss, but this fight is just boring and repetitive. Basically, you can't deal damage until you have survived and dodged a certain amount of attacks. It's another gauntlet that just wasn't that enjoyable, because it was too time consuming. You have limited space to move, you have to dodge or defeat these floating orbs which explode when they come too close to you, and at the same time you are trying to defeat these tentacles that are just a bit too tanky. I'd rather have a boss fight where the boss is always vulnerable, but dodging their attacks requires a lot of reflexes and great skill, than doing the same thing over and over again and begin to make mistakes because of impatience. There were also a few bosses that just felt a bit too tanky and started to become a bit tedious, but none of them managed to get under my skin like the timid guest boss fight did. So in general, Kingdom Shell is a very impressive game, especially if you realize it's a one-man project. It's not flawless, but I'm so impressed by the overall gameplay and the stunning art style. The world building and the amount of detail in each area are also really impressive, and even though I didn't enjoy each boss fight equally, I really liked their design and their overall presentation. It was really awesome to see this game being updated over time, and even though it fell a bit short in some places, I still really enjoyed my time with this one. And it was such a nice feeling to be able to finally play this finished product. I highly recommend this game if you love Metroidvanias and you don't mind some challenging platforming here and there. It also has a decent amount of hidden secrets, and exploring is really rewarding if you care about upgrading your character. So if this sounds like it's right up your alley, you should definitely give this game a try. So be ready to save this beautiful kingdom that's overrun by hordes of enemies, and show the world you are the true hero that can stop this nightmare.